call me crazy, but just as Anne Frank wrote in her memoirs, I still believe that human beings are basically good. Therefore, I believe that when a person is suffering in crisis of some kind, it is not only the duty and expectation of their loved one to help navigate them through it, but it is something that that loved one wants to do out of the goodness of their heart. People have good intentions, I'm sure, but the trouble is that sometimes in helping support a loved one through a problem, we fall victim to toxic positivity. Now, I'm not a mental health professional. I am a person who suffers through some mental health issues, and over the course of about 20 to 25 years, I have educated myself not only on some of the specifics of my conditions, but also some ways to communicate to people in my life about how I'm feeling so that they understand where I'm coming from with my disorders. Likewise, I have learned some ways in which my friends and family can communicate to me and be supportive to me in turn. Now, I take those experiences as well, and I visit them on other people who are having a crisis. Now, have I ever been guilty of toxic positivity? Sure. I've been on the receiving ends of it too. And that's why I decided, in the spirit of Self-Care Sundays, to educate myself some more about this phenomenon. Because here's the thing, self-care genuinely begins with the self. I know, that sounds redundant, but it is true. Unless we know ourselves well, unless we are able to know what it is that we believe, what it is we think, what it is we're capable of, and how we tend to and want to tend to communicate with other people in our lives, we're not going anywhere. And toxic positivity is one of the theories that lend themselves to why people find themselves in more crises when they come to a loved one with a crisis. Why it is that people who are experiencing turmoil in their lives are incapable of communicating and getting the communication back from people in their lives that will be helpful to them. So, I'm about to throw a little list at you of toxic positive things, but first I'd like to give you a full definition. Now, I already knew the answer to this, but I went ahead and I Googled it. And Google defines toxic positivity as the following: the overgeneralization of a happy, optimistic state that results in the denial, minimization, and invalidation of the authentic human experience. Decoded, this means that when you come to a person with a problem, and that person says something that is intended to be supportive, that person may be throwing a trite, almost meme-like sentence at you that you internalize differently. You don't internalize it as help. You internalize it as another way to feel guilty that you're even having the problem to begin with, or that you're coming to people with this problem, or that there are people who are suffering in the world worse than you, and who are you to sit and moan about your troubles, right? So, in my hand, I hold note cards that are a baker's dozen. 13 toxic positive statements. In turn, I also have what they are translated as to the person suffering in here, and an example of something you can say instead that will help your friend in need and not make you come off, well, like a meme or like one of those pictures from some e-cards, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a list of toxic positivity. But first, a sip of tea. I love my tea in my dog mom mug. Oh, it's just so awesome. That's just non-toxic positivity right there. All right. I'm sure we've all heard these before. Tell me if you've heard this one, as they say. So, toxic positive statement number 1 is, you'll get over it. Now, when a person hears, you'll get over it, it is translated to mean something like this: your pain isn't real. Okay? Because if it's something you can get over, it's not real. Instead, you might try saying, this is hard. You've been through hard things before, so I believe in your ability to get through this too. It doesn't just, like the amazing Kreskin, predict that they'll get over it. It indicates that they have had turmoil in the past, that this too shall pass, but not instantaneously, and with every reason to be hurt by it. Okay. Now, the second positive statement is, well, just think positively. Gee, I didn't think of that. Thank you, sir. I had no idea, right? Now, this translates to the person in turmoil as, you are wrong to think your way. You shouldn't be thinking this way. Okay, so instead we can try saying to our friends, I know many things can go wrong, but there is also a possibility that it will go well instead. You know, it doesn't sugarcoat anything. It doesn't tell a person to look out because everything's going to be okay, but it doesn't doom them to doom. It tells them, hey, it'll be heads or it'll be tails. We will handle it, right? And that's wonderful. Now, number 3 is one that has become very popular online lately. There's memes about it, there's t-shirts about it, there's bumper stickers about it, and it is good vibes only. Gee, I'm sorry to ruin your party with my negative vibe, but my whole house just burnt down. That kind of thing. This translates to the human who is experiencing turmoil as your vibe is unwelcome here. Think about, I know this is a terrible comparison, and I mean this not in any way historically, but years ago, when you saw whites only, right, or no Irish need apply on the signs in businesses, right, this was like, hey, if you're Irish, don't apply. Hey, if you're black, you can't be in here, right? Okay, it is exclusionary. And so instead of excluding the vibe of the person going through problems, you should say all vibes that come naturally are welcome here, because to each his or her own vibe, okay? Your vibe is yours, my vibe is mine. I am not excluding any human being from this arena, therefore all vibes are welcome, right? Now, I hear this one, well, I'd have to say about 5 times a day. Toxic positivity statement number 4 is, stop being so negative. Again, why didn't I think of that? Problem solved, right? Well, this translates to the person in turmoil as, I am being brought down by your mere existence here. Okay? If you say, hey, stop being negative, it's like, hey, listen, girl, bye. Okay? And, coming at a person with girl, bye is not exactly what you need to do. It's just so, bye, Felicia, or, one of those statements that we've come to know in pop culture. And instead, you might say something as simple as, it's normal to feel bad about this. My father died 2 years ago. People didn't say, stop being so negative. They said, you've lost your father. It is understandable that you might not be smiling today, and that's okay, right? Okay? They didn't tell me to stop being so negative. Get over it. It happened yesterday. That's another good one. It's not on the list. Love that one. Toxic positivity, sentence number 5, is also a very bumper stickery, meme-like e-card kind of thing, and it says, think happy thoughts. Gee, I didn't realize it was that simple, Barbara. It translates to the person as your thoughts are wrong. Because if they're telling you what to think, that would indicate that you're thinking incorrectly, right? And so how about saying, I know it must be hard to come up with happy thoughts right now, but I have a few if you'd like me to share them. Okay, it's not expecting happiness out of the other person, but if you have a bag full of happy thoughts and they'd like to open up that bag, that's fine, right? Oh, people. Never cease to amaze me. All right, now toxic positivity number 6 is one that I hear all the time. It sometimes is said differently. It sometimes says as, we didn't raise any quitters, or I'm not a quitter. The statement is never give up, okay? This translates as failure to the person who's suffering. It translates as, you must continue this way or you are a failure. How about allowing the person to give up if they feel they've exhausted every opportunity by saying something as simple as, sometimes giving up is the best option. I almost quit YouTube yesterday. There's a whole video up on that. It's not a very long video. I tend to make longer videos. I'm working on that. But the thing is that in 9 minutes and some odd seconds, I took you through the process of why I almost gave up. And if someone had told me sometimes giving up is the best option, well, I would be happy with that. Now, I didn't give it up, but I would like to have the option out there, wouldn't I? Of course, I'm happy I chose option B because we're sitting here right now. And sitting here looking at number 7. Just be happy. Duh. And why did I think of that? Okay. Basically, it translates to, you don't match us. You don't match all of the happy people here. Just be happy, okay? You go to a dance studio, it's like, well, just dance. You go to a bar, it's like, well, just drink. You go to a clothing store, buy something, But just be happy indicates, here's Happy Club, and you're not invited, okay? Instead, you might say something like, it must be hard to not find a way to be happy right now. Can I help you with that? Simple as that. Love it. I made a good cup of tea today. I have to tell you, that's my positive vibe. Okay. Number 8. We've all heard this one. Look on the bright side. Sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, there isn't any bright side, okay? And it translates to the person in trouble as your approach is all wrong, okay? Not only do you have the problem, but you're approaching the problem the wrong way because you're not looking at the bright side. Sometimes there's no effing bright side. You lose your best friend, not a bright side. You discover that you're HIV positive. There's no bright side, You find out that your entire family has been killed in a car accident. Not any bright side. Okay, so instead you may try saying something like this. I know this situation may not appear to be anything but bad, but maybe later we can work out what to take away from this. Later when you're prepared, maybe we could figure out what our takeaway is, what our lesson is. But right now, feel your feelings. They're genuine. You're genuine. And it's okay. Toxic positivity number 9 goes back to this quitting thing. I've seen this on so many people's cars, usually big Jeeps and minivans and stuff, because it's a particular type of person who says these things. Failure is not an option. Translation, you're a loser if this doesn't work out. Okay? Hey man, failure is not an option. Therefore, if you fail, you suck. Right? So how about failure is part of growth, learning, and success? Has anyone ever failed anything in their lives? Show of hands. Okay. Try talking to me about my math classes in high school. Failure. Okay. Try talking to me about anything sports related. Failure. Okay. But am I a big loser? Am I a weenie? Am I not a person? Absolutely not. I'm just a person who chose English as a career instead of math. And thank heavens. Toxic positivity statement number 10. And everybody I know, including myself, has been guilty of this one right here, and it says, everything happens for a reason. Now, if you're not prepared to hear this, this translates as, the universe must hate you if this is happening. Because think about it. If everything happens for a reason, they never told you whose reasons, okay? So, like, for example, if your ex-wife is taking you to court for half of your money, and everything happens for a reason, well, that means that if she wins, that means that it's happening for her reasons, and that you suck. The universe doesn't like you. Okay, and that's not what you say to your buddy. That's not cool, right? So you may try saying something like this. Bad things happen, and it's a fact of life. Can I help with any of it? Okay? Not that it's the universe's fault and the universe hates your guts. It's that, listen, the universe works in horrible ways at times. What can we do? How can I be of assistance to you in this crappy universe? Right? We're getting to the end of this here, people. And number 11, I can't tell you how many times just last week I heard this. A person can be guilty of toxic positivity by saying, it could be worse. Really? You don't say. This translates to people, and I'm especially horrified by this one myself, because I suffer from lots of guilt in various arenas. I'm just a very guilty, conscienced person, even though I've done nothing wrong, and when I've done something wrong, forget about it. I was never even punished as a kid because I just punished myself so severely that no one can have the heart, It could be worse translates to, your problems aren't as bad as some, so you should feel guilty that you're hurting, right? And instead, you could just say something like, I'm sorry this is happening to you. Simple, short, to the point, and so much better than it could be worse, because, well, effing duh, okay? Ooh, that was a little bit of a snafu there, but we'll carry on. We're almost done. And number 12 is one that lots of people say, especially people in the older generation. Now, I'm a little bit older than some of the people I know online, and I'm a little younger than some of my friends, and so I kind of see both sides because I'm sort of middle ground here. I'm Generation X, and we sometimes hear everything works out in the end. Well, yeah, it does, but they don't say for who. Sometimes it works out for the other guy, right? So it translates as, you're ridiculous for expecting bad results. Like if you're worried about test results, or if you're worried about a person in surgery, or if you're worried about a job interview, or you're worried about a financial situation, filing your taxes late, or expecting a settlement from a court case or whatever, and you expect that it won't be in your favor, you're the big doofus, right? So instead of saying that, try saying, no matter what the outcome, I'm here for you, okay? Isn't it wonderful to have a person who says, listen, if you win, we'll go out and celebrate. If you lose, we'll go out and drown our sorrows. Isn't that what friendship's all about? And we're finally at the last one. And the last card that I hold in my hand is a card that when I wrote them down today, when studying from the internet, I nearly had a breakdown even putting this on paper. Because I have heard this so many times, and I need a sip of tea. Ladies and gentlemen, especially ladies, because they seem to say this to us more. Number 13 on our list of toxic positivity. Smile. This translates as, your sad look is upsetting everyone. Okay, I can't tell you how many times I've walked down the block randomly and I wasn't smiling because, you know, life, and some, usually an elderly man, you know, or some guy passing by in a truck, you know, it's like, smile, it's not so bad. I've been told to smile more times by strangers than I care to count, let alone my loved ones. Let's not even get into that. And it translates as, your look is upsetting me. And it's like, well, sorry that my face is interfering with your day, but I have problems. Okay, next time, I've often said that next time some old man is in the street and tells me to smile, I'm gonna look him dead in the eye and just say, I just found out that I have terminal cancer and I have 6 weeks to live. Something like that. Because someone ought to tell people that telling people to smile isn't the right thing to say. Instead, how about saying, I know this is a hard time for you, and when the time is right, you'll smile again. Right? Sort of like, if anyone has seen Sex and the City, the first movie, Carrie, you know, they were on the vacation to Mexico that was supposed to be her honeymoon with Big when he left her at the altar. Sorry, I'd say no spoilers, but the movie's 10 years old. You should have seen it already. And she's like, will I ever laugh again? You know, and they said, when something is really, really funny, you'll laugh. And something happened that was really funny, and Carrie laughed. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to belabor this point a whole lot this evening because, well, I'm going to go spend time with my dog, which is non-toxic positivity. But I do want to say this. In the world, stuff happens every day. Like I said at the beginning, bad things happen to good people. Sometimes bad things happen to bad people. But have you ever noticed that seldom, if ever, occurs? I don't know. In any case, I understand that we all enjoy the company of our friends and family. I enjoy that. I enjoy my friends and family myself, and I know that there are times when they're down and I don't know what the heck to do. And there are times when I'm down and they don't know what the heck to do. And so it is in our best interest to alleviate the tension. And so we do sometimes, unfortunately, with these trite internet meme slogan bumper sticker-like answers, right? That only serve to belittle the person's feelings and experience. Now, I know that it is not our intention to do so, hopefully, right? But nevertheless, it happens. You know, intention means very little sometimes. And so I think that the more we intentionally try to internalize how not to be toxically positive, the better our relationships will be with our friends, family, and other loved ones. And the better we'll feel about ourselves. And the better that we will get a handle on our own problems. And therefore, you know, Dr. Phil has always said we teach people how to treat us. And if we practice a little self-care by indicating to our friends during our personal crises that we don't want to be treated like a meme, you know, that we're breathing, thinking human beings, then we will be all the better for it in here. And, in turn, when it comes our opportunity to be a supportive friend to somebody else, we'll know what to say because we'll remember when the right thing was said to us. So, with that, I'm going to say Self-Care Sundays number 6. We've got this. There's so much more coming in Linda's World in the coming weeks, so I definitely want you to stay tuned. Subscribe if you haven't already. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so you can see when new Linda's World videos appear. And please leave me a comment. Let me know what I missed. Let me know what toxically positive things have been said to you in the past, or that you, unintentionally or intentionally, have said to other people in the past that didn't exactly land well when they or you were having a crisis. I'm definitely anxious to hear your feedback. I had 13 note cards here. There's any number of things that I forgot. So I'm really anxious to hear your feedback. So if you enjoyed what you saw, please like the video. And like I said, please subscribe. And check out some of my other ones. Self-Care Sundays is just one of the series that we have here in Linda's World. We've got vlogs. We've got Top 10 Tuesdays. We've got a lot of stuff basically all centering around the same mission, which is how to live your best life, even when you're not quite living your best life. That's what I do. That's the kind of self-care I practice. And that is not toxic positivity. That's just my brand of positivity. That's the positivity of Linda's world. So, for that, happy Self-Care Sundays. Stay positive the right way. And I'll see you later. Bye.